Talkatoo Podcast.
English conversation made easy.
Hi. It's really nice to sit down and talk again. I'm Lila, and honestly, today felt surprisingly busy, even though I didn't do anything very important.
And I'm Dilo. Wait, that was exactly my day. I answered emails, bought groceries, cleaned my apartment, paid a bill, and somehow the entire day disappeared.
Yeah, sometimes you finish the day and think, what exactly happened?
Exactly. And I had a very strange moment this morning.
Oh?
I made a to-do list. It had things like buy toothpaste, wash clothes, and call the internet company. And suddenly I looked at the list and thought, wow, adulthood is not very exciting.
That's very honest.
I mean, when I was younger, I thought adults were doing amazing things all the time.
And now?
Now I'm very proud when I remember to buy eggs.
Honestly, sometimes that's a successful day.
But it made me think. We spend so much time taking care of little things.
Yeah, work, errands, responsibilities, messages, appointments.
And before we know it, another week has passed.
Before we go deeper, we should say thank you to everyone listening.
Yes, whether you're walking home, making dinner, sitting on a bus, cleaning your room, or practicing your English with us, we're really glad you're here.
And thank you for all your comments recently. Some people told us they listen while commuting, and others said these conversations help them relax after work.
We also love hearing that many listeners use the PDF after each episode to review vocabulary and practice English step by step.
And if you miss a few words today, that's completely okay. Just listen, relax, and enjoy the conversation.
And if these episodes make your English practice feel more natural, you can subscribe to Talkatoo English Podcast. We'd love to have you here with us.
You know, your to-do list story actually reminds me of today's topic.
The exciting life of buying toothpaste?
Well, sort of. Because sometimes life becomes a long list of things we need to do.
Yeah, wake up, work, eat, sleep, repeat.
Exactly. And occasionally, usually when we're tired or sitting quietly somewhere, a strange question appears.
Which is?
What am I actually doing all of this for? Not in a dramatic way, just what is all this effort for? Why am I working so hard? Why am I rushing all the time?
That's honestly a question I avoid.
Really?
Yeah, because it feels very big.
It does. And I think that's why we don't ask it very often.
Because we're busy.
Exactly. Busy people don't always have time to ask deep questions.
But sometimes life becomes so full of responsibilities that we forget to ask what really matters.
And today's conversation isn't really about finding one perfect answer.
Thank goodness.
No, definitely not. It's more about being curious.
Curious about what?
About what gives our life meaning. About what we're truly living for.
That's a little scary.
Maybe. But I also think it's one of the most important questions we can ask ourselves sometimes.
You know, after we talked earlier, I kept thinking about that question. What am I really living for? And honestly, I don't know if I have my own answer.
I think that's very normal.
Is it? Because sometimes it feels like everyone else knows exactly what they want.
I don't know if they do. I think many people are following a path without stopping to ask where it leads.
Like a map?
Exactly. A map that somebody else gave them.
Who gives us the map?
Lots of people, actually. Family, society, social media, friends, teachers, even advertisements.
So we grow up hearing things like, get a good job, buy a house, make more money.
Yeah, and none of those things are necessarily bad.
Right, having goals is fine.
Of course. The problem is when we never ask ourselves whether those goals actually belong to us.
That's interesting.
For example, someone might work extremely hard because they think success means a bigger apartment.
Or a more important job.
Exactly. But after reaching those things, they might still feel empty.
Because maybe that wasn't the thing they truly wanted.
Maybe not.
You know, I had a friend who changed jobs a few years ago.
Really?
Yeah, everyone thought he was making a mistake because he left a very good position.
Why did he leave?
He said he was tired of living according to other people's expectations. He wanted more time with his family, less stress, and a simpler routine.
That's a difficult decision.
It was. And honestly, I didn't understand it at first.
And now?
Now, he seems happier than before. He earns less money, but he spends more time with his children, cooks dinner every evening, and actually enjoys his weekends.
That's really interesting.
Because from the outside, his life became smaller.
But maybe from the inside, it became larger.
Wow.
I think that's why this question matters. Sometimes we spend years climbing a ladder without asking whether it's leaning against the right wall.
That's a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, because we naturally compare ourselves to other people.
Social media definitely doesn't help.
No, we see someone's success, someone's vacation, someone's house, someone's achievements.
And we start borrowing other people's dreams.
Exactly. We think, maybe I should want that too.
I think I've done that many times.
Me too.
So how do we know if something is truly ours?
That's difficult, but maybe we can ask simple questions.
Like what?
Does this make me feel alive? Does this matter to me? Would I still want this if nobody else could see it?
That last question is really interesting.
Yeah, because sometimes we're chasing applause instead of meaning.
And maybe that's why some people reach their goals but still feel lost.
Exactly. Because following someone else's map can take you very far, but not necessarily where you wanted to go.
After our last conversation, I started thinking about something. If we stop following other people's goals, then what actually gives life meaning?
That's a really good question.
Because when people talk about purpose or meaning, it always sounds very big, like you need to discover your life's mission.
Yeah, it sounds like one day you'll climb a mountain, look at the sky, and suddenly understand everything.
Exactly. And honestly, I don't think that's going to happen to me.
Me neither.
So where does meaning come from?
I think sometimes it comes from much smaller places than we expect.
Like what?
Relationships, conversations, helping someone, creating something, taking care of people, spending time with family, even small routines.
That's interesting. Because one of the most meaningful moments I had recently was very ordinary.
Oh?
I visited my parents one weekend. Nothing special happened. We had dinner, watched television, talked about random things.
Sounds simple.
Very simple. But when I left, I suddenly realized how important those evenings are becoming. When I was younger, I thought meaningful moments had to be exciting. Traveling somewhere, achieving something big, doing something impressive.
And now?
Now, I think sitting at the dinner table with my family feels more important than many things I used to chase.
I think that changes for many people as they get older.
Why?
Because we slowly realize that meaning often lives inside ordinary moments. A conversation with a friend, helping someone move house, walking with someone you love.
I remember helping my neighbor carry groceries a few weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah, she's older, and it only took 10 minutes. But afterward, we sat outside and talked for a while.
And?
Honestly, I felt surprisingly good. It wasn't a huge achievement, but it felt important.
That's interesting, because meaningful moments often don't look impressive from the outside.
Nobody posts, "Today I helped carry groceries."
Exactly. But sometimes those moments stay with us much longer than bigger things.
Hmm, maybe meaning isn't always about success.
I think very often it's about connection.
Connection to people?
People, places, memories, communities, feeling that you belong somewhere.
That's really different from what we're usually taught.
Yeah, we're often taught to ask, what do you want to achieve?
Instead of asking, "What matters to you?"
Exactly.
I think that's why some very busy people still feel empty.
Because they may have goals, but not enough meaning.
And maybe some people with very simple lives feel deeply fulfilled.
Yeah, because meaning doesn't always come from doing more.
Sometimes it comes from paying attention to what's already there.
Exactly. And maybe that's comforting, because it means we don't necessarily have to search very far.
Maybe some of the things we're living for are already quietly sitting inside our everyday lives. Can I ask you something? Was there ever a moment when this question became real for you? Like, not just thinking about meaning, but actually realizing something had to change?
Yeah, there was actually. And the strange thing is, nothing dramatic happened.
Really?
Yeah, nobody gave me life advice. I didn't quit my job or move to another country. It was just a very ordinary evening.
Okay, now I'm curious.
A few years ago, I had a period where I was very busy. My days were full. Work, responsibilities, messages, plans. And honestly, I thought I was doing everything correctly.
Like you were building a good life.
Exactly. I was productive, I was organized, and from the outside, everything looked completely fine.
But something felt wrong?
Yeah. One evening, I came home quite late. I made dinner, sat down at the table, and suddenly realized how quiet the apartment was. And I remember asking myself, when was the last time I enjoyed my life?
Wow.
Not when was the last time I finished something. Not when was the last time I achieved something. Just when was the last time I genuinely enjoyed being alive?
That's a difficult question.
It really was, because I couldn't answer it immediately.
What did you realize?
I realized I had become very good at managing my life, but not very good at experiencing it.
That's a powerful sentence.
Yeah, I was always thinking about the next task, the next week, the next goal. Even during good moments, part of my mind was somewhere else.
I think a lot of people live like that.
I think so too. And honestly, I felt a little sad because I had spent so much time building a life that looked successful.
But it didn't necessarily feel meaningful.
Exactly.
So what happened after that?
Nothing huge. That's the interesting part. I didn't change my entire life overnight.
No dramatic movie scene?
No dramatic music, no big speech.
So what changed?
I started paying attention. I called friends more often. I spent weekends with family. I protected quiet evenings. I started saying no to things that didn't matter very much.
Small changes.
Very small, but they slowly changed how my life felt.
Because maybe meaning isn't one giant answer.
I think that's exactly it. I used to believe I needed to discover my purpose.
And now?
Now I think meaning is something we build, conversation by conversation, relationship by relationship, day by day.
That's honestly comforting.
Why?
Because if meaning is one giant thing, I'm afraid I'll miss it.
Me too.
But if it's built through small choices, maybe all of us can find it.
Exactly. And sometimes one quiet evening is enough to remind us to ask a very important question.
Which is?
Am I simply living, or am I actually experiencing my life?
You know, after today's conversation, I feel a little strange.
Strange how?
Well, I started the episode thinking there would be some big answer. Like maybe by the end, we discover the meaning of life.
That would be a very ambitious podcast episode.
Exactly. But now, I think the answer is much smaller than I expected.
I think so too.
Because honestly, when someone asks, what are you really living for? My first reaction is still, I don't know.
And maybe that's okay.
Really?
Yeah. I think people put a lot of pressure on themselves to find one perfect purpose, one big reason for everything.
Like a single sentence that explains your whole life.
Exactly. But life changes. We change. What matters to us at 20 may not matter at 40.
That's true.
Maybe the goal isn't finding one answer forever. Maybe it's asking the question from time to time.
I like that. Because it feels less scary.
Yeah. Some seasons of life are about work. Some are about family. Some are about healing, friendship, creativity, or simply learning how to live.
And maybe meaning changes with those seasons.
Exactly.
You know, when I think about my own answer right now, it's actually very simple.
Oh?
I think I'm living for the people I love, the conversations I have, and the small moments that make me feel connected.
That's beautiful.
And honestly, 5 years ago, I probably would have given a completely different answer.
I would have too.
What would your answer be now?
I think mine would be creating a life that feels honest. A life where I have time for people, time to notice things, and time to experience the world instead of always rushing through it.
That feels very peaceful.
I hope so. And I think that's why this question matters. Not because we need the perfect answer, but because it helps us live a little more intentionally.
Instead of simply following the crowd.
Exactly.
Before we finish today, maybe we can leave everyone with one question.
Yeah, here's our question for you. If someone asked you, what are you really living for right now? What would you say? Not what other people expect, not what sounds impressive, just your honest answer.
My answer would be very simple. I'm living for meaningful conversations, people I care about, quiet evenings, and building a life that feels peaceful instead of rushed.
And my answer would be living for connection, curiosity, and the small moments that remind me that life is happening right now, not someday in the future.
It's interesting that neither of our answers is about money or success.
Yeah, not because those things don't matter, but because they may not be the whole story.
Maybe meaning lives in smaller places than we expect.
And maybe we're already much closer to it than we think.
And if you'd like to review today's vocabulary and expressions, don't forget to check the PDF in the description.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us. And thank you for all your comments and messages. We really do read them, and they make these conversations feel much more human.
And if Talkatoo English Podcast helps your English feel more natural or gives a quiet moment during your day, you can subscribe and join us again next week.
Take care of yourself this week.
Ask yourself honest questions.
And don't worry if you don't have all the answers.
Sometimes the questions themselves can change our lives.
Thanks for being here.